All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another live session. Welcome back, welcome back. Another beautiful day at last. So, there's a couple of stocks that I'm watching out here, and they're not looking too bad. They're not looking too bad. Let's try up the watch list. So, PCSA, which is up 55%. That's the first one. Second, there is LVTX, which is up 57%. Third, ONCO, which is up 187%. This one is a little cheaper. And then for continuation, I'll be watching at RVSN here. RVSN, I think, could have some potential if we get the daily candle to make a new high up there around $7. But it's a ways down below. It's a long shot. If it doesn't happen, that's all right. We already got our fresh watch list stocks anyways. So let me get my chart in place here, and then it's on to a few trend lines. Let's make sure to hit enter, because sometimes that happens where I type out the entire message and then never hit enter. Gotta make sure not slacking. There we go. So for those of you guys tuning in on YouTube, I haven't been saying this much. It's always a little tricky to, remember, right, with everything that's going on. But hit that thumbs up, right? Hit that thumbs up. Let's set the tone here early. If you're a new viewer, also consider subscribing to the channel, right? Hit that thumbs up and let's get to business here. So first stock, PCSA. PCSA, not looking too bad. So recently we had a push. It had a reverse split I'd say a few days ago, it looks like. We pushed up a little bit and now we're back down. So it seems like we're curling back up today after a few red candles. The first daily candles made the new high, and we've had highs at 374. 374, not looking bad. So since then, we've pulled back. We've had a low of 304. So quite the move down. But we held up. We retested the highs, and it's back down again. So I'd like to see us hold up these similar levels. So far here we had a 312. But can we hold up this area here and then retest the highs again? If we can do that, perhaps there's a chance we see a new high of day. So PCSA, not looking bad in that aspect. But again, the daily chart could have been better if we'd held up about that reverse split level 767 and pushing up to 10 would have had a much better daily chart. But sometimes you got to work with what you have, right? And in this case, we got to work with this red to green. Hopefully it can be strong, right? Strong red to green here. So PCSA, not looking too bad. Moving on to LVTX. LVTX. This one's up 54% with 16 million shares of volume. And we have a pre-market high at 274. Not bad. Lows of the pullback are checking in around 223. All right. Pre-market chart looks decent. Let's see. So I traded this stock before. I have previous trend lines here. I'm going to get rid of a few of them, but I'm going to keep, I see I have a level here at 567. I'm going to keep that particular trend line. All right, so the 200 EMA today, where's the 200 EMA? The 200 EMA is currently at 187. We're above that level, which is good. I can still put it in there just for reference. Last time I traded this stock, the 200 EMA was at 406. So I'll edit that trend line and bring it down. But if we're pulling back to those levels, I wouldn't be looking for trades. But yeah, noticeable levels on the daily chart. Going back to June 2nd, we had 32 million shares of volume and a high point of 379. definitely is going to be a target here for me today. Can we see 379 if this is strong? And if it's really good, can we push through that level, right? I think short sellers might watch that area, being that it's a bit of a topping weight candle. Again, you guys can check the daily chart going back to June. We had a big topping weight candle. We'll see how it does. So doesn't look bad. Other than that, again, can we see five and then maybe $6 if it's really good? That's LVTX. LVTX. As we're heading into the open, I'm gonna make sure my share size is set. Make sure everything is looking good here today. I was telling myself last night, I got to do a better job of trusting my instincts and also being a little bit more aggressive. We wanted to bring a little bit more fire coming into the week, and we haven't really done a great job of that yet. So if we see good momentum today, it's time to get aggressive, all right? No fear, no hesitation, as usual. So LVTX looking decent, and the leading stock today, ONCO. I couldn't get a read on the float, but it seems decent. And HKD's, let me see, HKD's hitting the scans here. Let's just take a quick look. How about them Tesla earnings, right? Tesla missing. HKD moving up, but the volume is pretty light. But worth mentioning here, just in case it gains more volume over time. Guys, we now have over 250 people. Hit that thumbs up, and consider subscribing to the channel if you are a new viewer. Let's get up there to 200 likes before the open. Let's get up there to 200 likes. Hit that thumbs up and let's continue here with the watch list. Well, actually, let's take a quick second to start the screen recording. Here's the alarm. All right, looking good. So ONCO, high point here of 47.80. 47.80. All right, not bad. So far, we've pulled back and we've had a pullback to VWAP going down there to 35.63 or so, plus or minus, right around that range. 35.63. So decent range. I like what I'm seeing here. We held up nicely at the VWAP. We've curled back up to highs, and it seems like we're getting the W, right? The ABCD, the W, right? This pattern here in here is very famous. Come on. Okay, there we go, right? We've pulled back. We had that bit of a midpoint area here. We pulled back again for the double bottom, and it's curled up. So what we're now seeing is a bit more of an extension, right? So it's now turning into almost like a cup and handle with the flag, right? So there's a bit of a handle now off this W. There's consolidation. What we don't want is a breakdown and retest to the lows. Push to the upside, even if it has resistance initially at the highs, but then a breakout would be nice for this ONCO. And if, depending on how it's moving, I'm going to try and take the longer hold trade if possible, if the scalps are no good, but I'll have to be paying attention to it to capture the move. If not, we could easily miss it. On the daily chart here, let's just see quickly how we're looking. So we've sold off over the last couple of weeks. Nothing, let's see, nothing major. I mean, there's a big volume candle on June 14th of last year. Low of 111, high of 158. Well, I guess it did gap from 77 cents. Other than that, the 200 EMA, E-Trade is showing me about 120. Thinkorswim is showing me 80 cents. I'll map out both those levels. Why not? Can't hurt. 80.79 on Thinkorswim. I'll put both of them. It's never good when there's a discrepancy, but again, we have to work with what we have. And then 120. Yeah, so 77 cents, being that the 200 EMA on Thinkorswim is here, around that area, 77, 80 cents. I want to watch out for potential resistance. Any area where there was a big move or anything that stands out is an area I want to just at least keep an eye on. But it could also be the opposite effect, right? Maybe it gets up there and people start to think back about June of last year and how it gave a big move and it maybe keeps going, right? But yeah, we'll have to react real time as usual. Right now, with 2 minutes to the open, we have no idea if these stocks are going to be strong or weak as a 2 minute warning is going off. So the only thing we can rely on is making the decisions real time in the moment. So PCSA, this is the one I'll be watching into the open. We're already seeing some life here. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. Today is going to be a great day. You gotta put it out there. Dash, what's up? So I'm looking to be focused. I'm looking to be locked in. I'm looking to follow the rules that I have for myself. And I'm looking to trust my instincts, trust the patterns, trust the setups, trust the price action, and look for those good trades that I know and love. Other than that, let's not forget the disclaimer. Guys, remember that day trading is hard, first and foremost. There's nothing easy about what we're doing here, regardless of how it can look at times. There's nothing easy about this. So let's remember to always be disciplined. Let's be the best managers that we can be, because ultimately, if we fall too far, it could mean us losing our entire accounts. All right. So if you're new, even if you've been around and you're not quite consistent, make sure your approach to risk is limited. Utilize the simulators, utilize small share size, and go about it in a safe way, right? Other than that, remember to never copy trade. That's a recipe for disaster. And lastly, remember I do not invest for my subscribers. I say that every day because there are fake accounts and we have to be careful. We have to protect ourselves. I will never message you first. I will never ask for personal information or money. So PCSA looking decent. What will it be here heading into the open? We got a couple seconds. We got that high of 380. What will it be? There's 87, 88. Will we continue here? I'm getting some lag on my level 2. Looks like it's going to be a false push. Good attempt there, though. It's struggling. I'm getting some bad fills. We should have ripped through 4 there. Still in range, though. Easing off a little bit because I'm not really seeing any sort of follow through with these trades, which I think I'm taking some good trades, so I'm kind of just easing off a bit. We got 16 for a high. The low of the current candle is 87. The high is at 420. There's 20, but not quite the push through. Okay. Slow push to 30. We haven't seen a pullback yet. Can we see 410 out of this? There's 7, 10. Okay, there we go. Not bad. Remember, the low of the last was 87, so that was a good dip. Now let's see how well it does if it wants to retest here, or do we need a more pullback again? There's a spread at times. No immediate push through for the highs. Perhaps a retest. 6. Being patient though. It's good volume, but it's not opening up. Perhaps a rejection here. Okay. Is there a hidden seller at 30? I think there has to be a hidden seller there. We should have went. Good green printing on the tape with lots of buying, but no follow through through level. Definitely not as smooth as I would like on the high of day attempts. So far, we've had a low of 0.6 on the pullback. High of 35, low of 0.6. I like it higher low as usual, so I'll be waiting here. We might get a bigger drop here. Waiting. Or perhaps not. Is there a seller here? Can we see the curl back up? Five. The fills on the ask are brutal. There's a small bid there. Maybe it does hold, but it's definitely having a bit of a hard time here. Oh, to the depths. Looks like it's going to go down here. Are we holding? Nope, it's going down. Right to the depths. Well, I guess the dip was good. Better than nothing. It might hold. I mean, it's possible it holds, but it's definitely tricky down here. This price action wasn't really great for me. LVTX is curling up a bit. The other stock, ONCO. Yes, is that halted up? Let's see. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, that's good. See that? Well, actually, no. Okay, no, it's not. Break of 7. I did like the break of 7 for RVSN, but it seems like it's rejecting here for now. AMSC looks all right, but we've had a huge move up from that red to green. Hard to tell if we're going to see a big pullback here or not. ONCO, will we see a high of day? $45 is high of day. We're currently at 43. RVSN. There seems to be a lot of selling. Maybe it needs a little bit more time here. Maybe RVSN needs a little bit more time. What's up with the spreads on this one here? ONCO. Saying not low as 40. I think it does look pretty good. We're seeing 41.90 on the bids. I wonder if AMSC is a better one to look at. RVSN is still fighting at 7. Well, we know opportunity costs always. Order did not get filled there. I'll try again if it comes down. There's a bit of a spread within this one, so I'm trying to buy the bids here if I can. RVSN, can we get over 714? Try again. There's a ton of buying and nothing happening. RVSN, what will it be? So we didn't get the shares to fill on this other one here. So we basically missed the dip there. We're at the highs, so we'll see how it does. What am I going to do with 100 shares on this thing? This thing is moving, but it's, it's a little tricky. Oh, perhaps a little too aggressive there. Watching. the idea on that trade was good. We were holding mid 40s, but that volume a little tricky coming in. So 88 for the halt up if it gets locked in here. There it is. So we might get locked in, but it's hard to tell if it will. It's sometimes the bids are coming down, but we have a few buyers there. It looks like it'll get locked in. There it is. I already sized up on a little bit on that trade for a reach test of 50, but too much selling. It's just a little too gradual. So I'll wait for resumption there. The other one, PCSA, how did we do? It's still trying, right? I mean, it's trying here. It's worth keeping an eye on. We held up the VWAP at 79, which is impressive. The volume profile did look good on the 5 minutes, so I'm not too surprised. Volume profile did look pretty good. Question is, how strong will we be here on the move up? So far, we got a high of 414. How far can we go? It's a gradual push here so far, just gradual grind up. Can we start to open up a bit? Okay. No dip though, no dip. We might get halted up, and it looks like we will. There's a lot of buying there. The way how it's moving, it's just a little too difficult to get an entry there. Unless I'm literally in at the lows, watching and waiting over the higher the bear flag for a longer hold trade in here. But not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad. RVSN, we have 53.30 for resumption. All right, this is where we got to look to dominate and get ourselves green here quickly. So RVSN, we'll look at this one. Can we get a nice cushion? And then PCSA, if we get a nice dip and rip, we'll be looking pretty good. Very gradual move there, very gradual, slow, 20, 22, back down to 17, 23, 24, back down to 20. Once they got to 30, then. So for me to capture a trade like that on that stock, I'd have to be in already. Just hey, let me hold this thing, see what it does. But even then, it's a little tricky because if I'm in, at the break of the VWAP, not VWAP, the bear flag, which was at 96. Once we get to like 410, 415, like that's already a great trade. It's like pretty rare that I'll be still looking for more. So I take the 10, 15 cents, always 20 cents. Can't go wrong. All right. RVSN, what will it be? 53 and 30 seconds. So we got about 40 seconds to resumption. This is prime time here. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, to hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. Let's see what we can do here on RVSN. Room up to 924. This is strong. We're currently at 788. 5, 4. Here we go. The halt down is there. Yeah. So, well, not great. False halt. Okay, false halt. The spreads are pretty bad. It's not going when the volume's hitting. Halt down is extended. Not great price action. Just not great price action here. It looks like it might break down below 7, perhaps. Didn't take that dip. The halt down was kind of in range. Not a lot of liquidity there. Whatever. On to the next one. Would have loved to see a nice move up, but not quite. Not quite. Second time. Will the second time be the charm here? BCSA, talk to us nicely. Can we get a nice dip and rip? Continued move, maybe into another halt going up. Notice how the volume is still fairly light compared to the first candle at the open. So that does show that there could be some room for, some upside here. But we'll have to see. There's about 40 seconds to this resumption. If this happens to be really good, can we see, a move up to 7 eventually over time? We're currently at 479. There's 10 seconds if we do have a 5-minute halt. 5, 4, here we go. It's lower. Can we see the push? Not quite. See, these are some good trades, but stocks are struggling, man. Can we go over 80? Okay, good. Oh, I'm not going to get an entry there. Stocks are struggling, man, in some of the key areas. 75 for the halt up. It's going to get extended. We might see a dip here. Oh, too soon. Yes, I think I got the scratch trade there though. We might still see a bounce there. Fires. I sold that right as that selling was about to come in. This thing is all over the place, man. Or another try, 510. And I come down in size just a little bit and keep throwing out some shares. Because we had a bid down there. If they're still there, we could potentially hold up. Come on, bids. Hold. As long as these bids can hold here. Okay. All right. Struggling a bit though. We should have went with that 1 minute candle making a new high right there. It's a bit of a rejection of the highs up at 70. But can we hold up these key areas down here? The lows at 07. I'd love if we can hold higher. So far we are. 43. All right, size. If we see a new high of day, I want size here. I think it might still come. I'm going to size back down. It's struggling though. Maybe we need to pull back first. I'll take a bit of a loss there. Seems like we're getting a bit of a retest of the lows. Low so far there, 505. The halt opposite 634. Can't allow it to move without me, man. Because if that move comes, that'll be a good move. Spreads are kind of crazy there. That's not what we really want. We want that tight spread and sweet move. I'm gonna keep trying, but the bids are having a hard time here. Bids are not bidding. Is this it? Where are those bulls? That's a terrible fill. I don't want to waste my mental capital. Struggling. Jeez. Why so many attempts? To the moon. 6, 6, 6. Not quite. See, that's pretty close, but we gotta get that gotta get an extension right there. It's coming down. Well, was worth a shot. Still didn't quite connect on any of that. Some small trades added up, but not great. The timing once again. I don't know. This week the timing is killing me. Timing is killing me. There's a small bit there. They're walking up the ladder. Can we keep pushing? Not quite. It still seems pretty bullish on the 5, so I want to see how it does down here. Short sellers, you know, they could be in, but I think we're still bullish on the overall bigger picture. 2, 1, 95. Can we hold? Seems like it might be having a hard time. We'll keep watching and waiting. RVSN is curling up a bit. Is this the backside already? It's possible, but we'll see. Oh man, RVSN, nice move. I didn't lock in on that level too fast enough there for breakup 30, but it was good. The halt is right here at 59. I'd love to see it get locked in. It's going to extend. Perhaps there's going to be a dip here. Fill me. Limit orders are brutal down here. No fills. No fill at 16 or at 21. I'd expect to see over 50 though at some point here. A dip on RVSN still kind of fighting. The lows of this consolidation were around 488 or so. There's shares to short. Interesting. There's shares to short. It's a good push here. High of that last candle was 33. So far, we seem to be holding up 5. There's 35, a couple more cents. Perhaps we continue here to 50. There's 45. Oh, too aggressive. Too aggressive. So we're gonna need a pullback here. Low there's 19. Once we push up right there and we start to linger a little bit, I like to try for the additional push. There's that 100,000 seller at 19. Well, that'll make things here a little tricky at the lows. And now we're seeing buyers below us. How's that? Ah, come on. Some strange price action there. I did not see that order get filled. It kind of just teleported above. The bids are opening up to the downside, so you gotta be careful here at some of these higher scalps. 36 on the ask. There's some small sellers here. Can we see the move here? Is it possible? Seems to be slowing down. That was close. We had 31 on the ask after that dip. Sometimes in those areas, if the ask price comes up a little bit more, you just start to surge. That level 2 price action. RD5 is the 5-minute candle to make a new high. Are we on to something here for the retest of 50? Can this 1-minute candle hold its levels? Can we see the push? Not quite. Maybe over the next few minutes we'll see it. It's a whole lot of trading for not a whole lot of gains. Again, having a hard time connecting on some of these areas. Timing off by a few milliseconds. Other areas are just better for longer hold time, being in and holding a few minutes. But I'd like the 5-minute setup for that. Right now we got 520. Guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Still not ready yet. Waiting for some more volume here. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Waiting for this breakout here over 50. If I see high volume coming in early in these areas, I wouldn't mind giving it a shot. There's a 10-cent spread here. We're kind of seeing volume coming in, but we're stalling out very quickly. It might drop here, I think. I'll ease off for a bit. If I see 40, I get more interested. I want to see more volume to the buy side. Make sure we're not going to get a early false breakout. But it's chart wise, it's looking pretty good. We want that 5-minute candle to make that new high at 37, and then the extended push to 50. Hopefully a retest of the highs. Is this it? 35. Scratch trade. We had 36 there. Right now we're just flirting with the levels, flirting with the levels. Oh, I'm gonna get caught there. I'm gonna get caught there for 20 cents. 501 for the low. It's a lot of selling there. Wanting to see that bounce from 20 back to 30 again, but not quite. 505 for the lows. The low of the entire pullback has been 85, but we have seen some support at 5. 95, 5, 505 area. It's not an instant pop here, so taking a scratch trade. Looks like it's having some trouble. We might see a retest of those lows here if we don't get more buying. There's 91 on the bids, 90. The volume profile there is good. I mean, even that type of trade isn't bad for a longer hold either. So I retested those lows down there at 85. Still think it looks pretty decent. Just waiting here. Not go in one movement. Because it gets risky if it does this. 35. And then right back down to 26. I'd rather see like a pullback at 30 before anything over the level, but sometimes it's. But you could get caught being too aggressive buying it higher. See, what I usually do is just wait, right? I'll just wait for like 40 to go long, 45. But the last two times I did that, once it got to like 35, 37, it just went up like 60 cents. So in this area, I'm like, all right, I'll keep kind of throwing out shares. So it's a lot of churn, maybe a lot of unnecessary trades at this area here of 30. 36. So far, so good. I don't know, man. I'm hoping it happens. As long as we don't get like a huge false breakout, I think I'll be happy with the move. We just don't want this thing to go to the depths. There's a bit of a spread here as well. Twelve, 12, 14. There's 1 minute left in this 5 minute candle. Short sellers are definitely in here around that 30, 40 level, if not higher. So, I'm still waiting to see how this does here. If we can keep holding support, I think that'll be great. But we'll definitely want to get that push through for a bit of a second, third leg. KB, are the Bulls still alive? Are the Bulls still alive? There's 15. We've been consolidating since 10 a.m. now. I like that we're getting higher lows here on the 3 minute, but we'll see. Right, a bit of a ascending support here. So the wedge could get tight, and in this area here, maybe we could see something in the next couple minutes, next 5 minutes, hopefully. Preferably to the upside, right? The dips can provide a good bounce opportunity, but if we get the move to the upside, there's always a chance for continuation and an extended push, maybe a halt up, or a new consolidation for another move, stuff like that. I'm gonna keep climbing here. Can we see 15, 20? Scratch trade. There's a seller walking it down right there. I definitely would want to see a nice bottoming wick at this level here. RVSN is coming down a little bit. Just waiting patiently. I want to keep an eye on it because I still think it looks healthy on the 5. Until we break down and the selling pressure is really on, I'll keep an eye. A few cents there, not seeing it. I'll keep an eye here though. 25 is for the candle to make the new high now. 23,000 share seller. Okay, we're gonna break that seller. It's weird how the seller breaks there. I think they canceled because there's no orders coming down. Some strange price action here. At times, right? At times. Other than that, it's been pretty decent. We got a small wall here at 30. But then we're coming right back into that range where we had that resistance 35.40. So if it gets through here, we'll want to see something and it's having trouble. Having trouble. Short seller, I don't know if I'm a short seller. I think I'm feeling pretty good, but it's still not in the clear. So there's a chance for us bulls. There's a chance. There's a chance. We bought up, I think, about 85% of those shares there, 30. It's probably another like 10,000 plus or so. There was about maybe like 60K, maybe more. So more indecision. It's imperative that we hold up above the level if it gets above. depths is having a hard time holding up, though it's holding up, but it's having a hard time. If it gets above 40, I'm letting it loose with size. I'll accept all the risk at that point, and I'll be looking to go to the moon. But I'll have to accept the risk, right? Because with big size, if it flushes down violently here, it won't be good. Spreads. We need the instant break there. Instant break. It's always tricky. I might give it a longer hold depending on how it shapes up. Big size time, brother. Big size time. We're not flying. Where's the move? Come on, where's the move? Where's the move? 75. Where are those bulls? It's struggling. On ease off. As long as it holds above 45 here, or 40, 45. Cannot afford to come back down. If it comes back down, it's going to the depths. The short sellers, this is their last chance to cover, or else they're gonna feel the pain. They're gonna feel the pain of a new high of day, and us ripping into new highs. Where are those bulls? Where are those bulls? 75. Bulls, do not fail us here. If it gets going, it should skip it. It should skip in price. If it gets going. I'm gonna keep trying for that new high. The halt up is at 650. More green. Where's the green? Green not printing here. See, like right there should be ripping, man. 80. Okay, all right. That's more like it. We should see a big move here. Watching 6. Trying again for 6. Brother. Taking this dip. Bro. Are you kidding me? You see, they're letting them off the hook again. Right there, right there. If we get that push through 6, anybody who's short, they have no choice but to cover. Now they're putting their feet on the desk, smoking a cigar. The short sellers winning the day once again. And it's you can get caught into that flush pretty easily if you're being aggressive with scalping like I am. And for people holding at 5, it's not great because even if they sold a good amount, the last 20-30% of their position that they're holding, you still want to sell into the highs or a new high, and it comes down so quickly that even those people might just have to take a break-even trade on the balance. But this ruins the chart, man. Right as things were getting spicy. Those dips at 70 are good money trades. Those dips at 70 are great, great trades. In 3,500, 73. But on the flip side of this trade, if it had decided to drop in that area, this is where I mentioned I have to take and accept the risk. So, I'd be in 72, stopping out at like I think there's a chance to get out maybe 22, 25. What's the difference there? 72 less 25 is 47 cents. 3,500 times 47 cents. Just like that, 1,600 red, and I'm down like 400 on the day, or maybe even a little bit more. Now, if the trade works like I would have expected it to, and short sellers actually covering, I'd be in at 70. I was willing to add there. I was willing to go for the add. I told myself the moment green prints mid 80s, add and watch this thing fly over 6 for the halt up. And even in 7,000, if it's a great break of 6, we would probably put. I think the halt was maybe at like 35, 40, somewhere there. If it's a great trade, we're selling above 20. I mean, there's even more risk with the ad, but looking to be aggressive there, just not quite. Again, I definitely over traded this area here. I don't usually like to take these many attempts in this type of area, but maybe a little too much overcompensating from missing earlier areas with bigger moves. Not willing to buy back aggressively. So definitely lost some money there. I think one poor trade was buying that dip at 20. It wasn't really a great trade idea. We know where the high is, we know where the low is. Why am I taking this trade in between for only a 10-cent gain? Like that doesn't make any sense for the risk which is associated with it, which I have to find out the hard way, which is like a 20 to 30 cent drop to the actual low where I should be buying in the first place down here. So I could have saved myself 300 bucks there and just kept adding to the gains with the small winning trades going back up. I thought we would have had the wedge here. It came 3 minutes later. Or let's not say the wedge, but the move. Day trading, man. Well, we're gonna lock in another 1K day, which is what we've kind of been averaging this week. I'm very grateful, and I'll always take it, but I gotta do more studying. Gotta study up some more and avoid some of these losing trades. We're not doing a great job of threading the needle here these last few days. I did look away for a long time at RVSN. There were other callouts, AMSC. Maybe today could have been one of those days where I whip out the old level 2 back here and had an extra stock open because I kind of, you know, again fumbled the bag by looking away because the early trades is how I can position myself to do well when I show up to the stock. And the first entry here, or at least, yeah, there's two entries, right? There's the lows, of course. There's the lows in this consolidation, and then there's the high of the flag. If I'm in for either or, if I'm in at the lows, more than likely I'm holding longer for a few minutes. But if I'm in at the high of the flag right here, it puts me in a good rhythm to be able to scalp the move as it goes. But when I show up midway through this green candle, like I did, I kind of feel like I'm chasing it. And immediately, for stock that's literally just going up, if you're not as aggressive as you need to be, then you're gonna have trouble, right? So I showed up in the middle of this move, and you know Even the 1 minute pullbacks are kind of hard to read because I'm looking at it like, okay, we came from 370 to a high of 480. We went up $1 a share. When the pullback drops down 30 cents, I'm a little skeptical, right? And again, if you're in a good rhythm, it's a little bit easier to kind of determine that, even to take on the risk in itself. And then it's going to erupt into a huge extended push. And then again, 3 bar play coming in. Best case scenario for a pullback like this, if we can hold up somewhat something, maybe like 50, even like, I mean, even if it pulls back to like 30 and we get like a good bottoming wick and then we start to flag right here, this could be pretty good. Some sideways stuff and then maybe a new high. That's what's ideal, is getting that new high of day in this area here. Because it's a bit of an ABCD. The W is in there. We had the retest of the lows. I have to start taking more 5 minute setups. When I took this trade here, I knew that was a possibility for me to hold longer. But I was almost like desperate for the gains, right? After that stupid loss of like 20 cents, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take my 15 cents. Because there's always the risk it comes back down and it doesn't double bottom. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna take the 15 cents here in case this does fail. But for anybody who wants to play it for the 5 minute setup, if you really and truly look at what the stock did, it never came back down to those levels, right? Because my entry was 90. Let's check it. At 10:23 a.m. I think I was in at 90 for the first trade there. Let's see, 10:23. Yeah, I'm in at 92.93. And I sold that for 10 cents at 501. In fact, some orders got filled 96, 97. It's like, do I really need to sell that there for just a few cents, right? I got back in at 01 and then back out at 10 to try and like ride the wave. In at 9, out at 18. But all of these trades here can just be one trade. Doesn't have to be me getting back in and out. Like if I was trading with commissions, I for sure would be doing that, I think. And some days I do think I could be more profitable doing that. It's really a good entry there because the risk is well defined. It's just like if you're going short to the upside and you have a well defined, you know, double top. And it's like, okay, I'm risking towards that level. So right here the lows are at 84 and I'm in at 93. My, I wouldn't stop out at 85 because I think that's too tight, but let's say give it some more room down to like 75, maybe mid to low 70s. If I'm going to look to hold it a little longer, let's say mid 70, 75 area, because we're already at the lows. If candles are closing below 85, that's my signal to like, hey, this thing is looking a little weaker. But a bottoming wick candle here, which is a hammer candle, is the ideal candlesticks for me to be in and saying, hey, let me, kind of give this thing time. So if you're willing to take the trade, you're in one time. I mean, we got up to 34. Even if you sell at 30 area, it's like not a bad trade because we did have resistance there. But if you're really looking to give it the long run, we never came back down below 5. We had 501, we had $5 twice, and then 503. So 4 times it came to 5 and held. And then from there, 590, 575. If we don't take profits at that point, I mean, it's on us because what more do we need than 50, 60, 70 cents on one trade? If we're looking for the halt up, I think that's us being too aggressive for the move. So that trade was there. If I took that trade, I eliminate like 30 plus trades that I took all in this area. But on the other hand, for scalping, right, this is exactly what it should look like if you do decide to be in and out multiple times. And if we come back here to 1023, it's like trading the way, and you can say, I don't know which way is more difficult, right? I think they're both hard, they're both carrying a certain amount of risk. But from the low at 92, I take the first couple of cents at 5, and I'm back in at 5, taking the next couple of cents to 510, and I'm back in at 510, taking the next couple of cents up to 518. But in this area, I'd want to be back in before 30. I happened to get in a little higher at 30, and I took the first loss at 27. So after that, it dips down again, and we took a dip trade in there, a couple cents. The continued push here from mid-teens, low teens, I got chopped out. It goes without me here, and I'm back in all the way at 22. So, it's definitely the active hyper scalping can be tricky, um, because ultimately the stocks are on their own calendar, their own almanac, their own time frame, meaning it'll go whenever it's ready to go, not when I want it to go. So, in some areas that will result into a lot of trades naturally. That's just what the strategy is. And can I be break even on those trades so that when it does go, I can capitalize? But like the trade I took at 20 in the middle of the pullback is a nonsense trade. Should be avoided at all cost. If there's a trend, the first two times, but not when it's like we've hit 20 now for the sixth, seventh time, and I'm trying to buy it. Like, come on, that those type of trades, I can't understand why in the moment I take those trades. It's just so foolish. Early is better, right? If I take it the second time and it fails, okay, right? But like the seventh time, come on. But very aggressive at the highs, and it's to this day, it's hard for me to be this aggressive at the lows. I cannot take 3,500 shares at the lows. No matter how hard I try on those dips, I've done it before a few times, but it just, it's one of those things I got to keep trying to work on. It's when there's a really good dip to use the huge share size. But I'm more comfortable at the highs where you could say the risk is, if you want to say it's higher, right? Or at least the risk is definitely present. I'm in 3,500 shares at 63, looking for the continued push over uh 80 and 90. A lot of trades in that area for that move. And then ultimately I don't really capture it because it rips to 90. I got in at 77 and I sold too soon because there's like sellers at 80. It wasn't really pushing through. I like to see the ask moving up. If the ask is moving up, I hold for a couple more seconds. But if the ask is not moving up, I'm just gonna say, hey, you know what? That's it. So we caught 73 to 85, and then 85 to 96. We had Hive Day at 90. Wait, hold on. Does that even make sense? Why is it showing 96? Let's see on the chart. The chart is saying 91, so I'm not sure what's up with that, but yeah. Now that I've been rambling on, another stock has probably been moving, and I've probably been missing it. This is a good pattern here for RVSN, but the way how the price action is on this stock, I don't know, man. I might add this to my no trade list because the bids just continue to flush out on this one. The pattern looks pretty decent though. The cheaper stock, ONCO, didn't really do that much. Let me see how the Discord did today. Spartan with some good trades there. Mr. Man, small red. I'm gonna check the I'm gonna check I'm gonna check the DMs in a little bit. Like right after live stream. How does this sprue? Okay, there we go. Sprue. Okay, sprue. Small red today. Poor execution, didn't adapt to the stock. Well, huge loss, so it's a bigger red day actually. So you got to make the adjustments and come again tomorrow, right? Watch over the film. BMAC did all right. I can pull this over here for the people to see on YouTube, right? Sprue. Let's enlarge this entire thing actually. Let's enlarge the entire thing. Am I on single screen? Yes, I am. Tony, nicely green in the sim. I mean, we had some people do all right. Is this yesterday? Hold up. No, okay, I see. Kind of a tricky day there for Danny. Let's see. Small red there. Ken with a nice day though. Ken holding it down. It looks like we have a light speed trader here. Jackson. Tesla, AMD, Boeing. Boeing at 207. Boeing with that airplane door popping off, man. That's one of the stocks I'm holding. I had Boeing at average of 188, and this thing did pretty well with the after the Fed spoke. Of course, the last 3 weeks coming into the end of the year, we had that bit of a rally, right? The last month and a half, really, since October. And then Boeing, one of my best performing stocks, this nonsense of the door blowing off and the stock is down. Stock is down so much. Now, I still like it because you know, a door blowing off. I mean I understand how dangerous that is. But at the same time, it's like we can't expect nothing to ever happen on an airplane, you know? It's like with trains, with cars, with buses, every single car company is going to have some sort of issue. Nothing can be perfect. Things will happen, but of course you don't want to be, neglecting things. You got to keep updating, keep uh the protocols, because I think that was one of the issues they had, is that they didn't check despite there being like signals that there might have been an issue coming. So split nicely done. Some of you guys are really consistent. I mean, Cactus Rob, man, Cactus Rob split. A lot of you guys who I know a lot of you guys are still working the 9 to 5 grind, and it's like adding $500 to your day at 11 a.m. At the end of the year, it's gonna add up. The $500 a day, was it 250 trading days? It's like 100 grand, right? This stuff you cannot go wrong. When Red to Green was here, Red to Green as well, like $1,000 almost like every day. The end of the year, 100, 200K. and still working a 9 to 5 job. I mean, it's like such a huge boost of income out of nowhere, you know? RVSN, I see it. It's coming up. So be sure to check out the Relentless Trading chat room if you have not already. The day trading chat is our main chat. That particular section was just for profit and loss. Mighty also posting there just now, up 3K on the day. Mighty getting it done. Hopefully Tim had a nice day as well, and all three of the mentors will have done super well this week. You guys already know, man. When it comes to Save, Crispy as well, those boys are killing it. We got to check in with Calamity, but more than likely he's also killing it. Dynamo, what you got for us, Dynamo? Dynamo, what you got for us? Here, I'll split back up quickly. Dynamo, what do you have for us here? Show us a nice big P&L. Oh, okay, here we go. It's typing. What will it be? I'm guessing 4K. 4K. Higher or lower? Okay, maybe there's too much pressure and he's shy. He's not posting. Back to RVSN here. So I just mentioned I might put this on my no trade list. We're coming above key levels here. What do I want to do? It doesn't look bad, I will say. The spreads are fairly decent here. Or maybe I'm trying to sweet talk myself into trading it. How do I deal with emotions outside of trading? You know, whenever you come into your sanctuary here, to your office space can be in your house, in your room, wherever it is. As you come in, you have to try and leave whatever might be going on the outside out of it. Because ultimately, when we are in a very rational state of mind, we understand that that will give us the best odds. Coming in balanced at a neutral and looking forward to the opportunities. If we come into the markets and we're bringing in the outside stress, the outside pressure, and this is hard stuff, man, because a lot of us are going through a tough time here in the economy, right? I mean, financially, things are tough with all these high prices, um, and a lot of people are really going through it. So it's hard to separate that as you're coming into trade. Without a doubt, we can't lie and sit here and say that that's something that's easy. It's not. But with that being said, you know, part of the risk management process is us staying balanced. And our mind has to be stronger than our emotions in this field. So when you're going through a divorce, when you're going through a breakup, when you've had a death in the family, um, I mean the millions of things, again, struggling financially, um, so many different things, right? Health issues, right? There's someone in the Discord who had some health issues a while back. I reached out to them. It's like, hey, I was in the hospital. It's hard to deal with trading right now because trading, of course, can be draining in itself, right? So it's definitely a tall task, man. It's a tall task to say, regardless of what's going on, I'm gonna show up here and be professional. And I remember when I was going through my breakup, right? Uh, one of you guys were telling me how you lost your mother and how you still had to lead a meeting. Like once I heard that, man, like once I heard that, and I still I traded it, but I traded terribly. Like I was green. It's crazy because the market was hot that month. That week, the week before green, like big green days, that Monday, it's like you try to tell yourself these things isn't gonna bother you, but you come in and you know subliminally it's there, right? Because in that time frame, every time I had a losing trade, I think about it. Like imagine the amount of losing trades I have in a day. It's just a mess. You could always decide not to trade throughout these points in time. But I was trying to be a trooper, right? And I was here for 1 week straight. It affected me heavily, but then it got much easier after that first week. But yeah, once one of you guys told me, "Hey, I lost my mom and still had to go lead a team meeting and be firm." I mean, that gave me some good encouragement. So these things will happen, but if we want to show up and trade, especially if trading is the way how we pay our bills, our mind has to be stronger than our emotions, and that will give us the best odds at succeeding. Yeah, I don't mind saying these things, right? It's not easy, man. It's never easy. Like a lot of stuff I'll be here and I would never say, right? Because it doesn't really need to be said for the most part, but not always easy. It's not always smooth, right? So you gotta always dig deep and be as professional as you possibly can. I was I was I was there like every couple of seconds, like red trade, like freaking heck, what a mess. But the good thing is though is that when you go through those stressful times and you can stay true to who you are, you become stronger, right? Now for you to even be bothered, it takes much more for you to really ever lose yourself or become tilted, right? But again, you can all if the emotions are just too high, you can always say, "Hey, you know what? I'll take this week off, even though financially I could use the extra gains. I'll take this week and a half, I'll take this 2 weeks, whatever it might be that's necessary to make sure that nothing bad happens in the market." But if you decide to trade through, you got to be ready for war. Now you're getting hit. Now you're getting hit from all angles. The enemy is surrounding you, and you have to remain sound in that fort. You cannot allow there to be any kinks and cracks in your defense, or else you will be going down and you'll be going down hard. But yeah, like let's see. I don't see any other questions. That was a good question there, though, for sure. I will be trading throughout most of the day here. But I have to do some back end stuff. I have to send out some emails and have to respond to these DMs. So I'm gonna shut down the live stream. But if something starts to move within the next hour or later, I'll be in the Discord live streaming. So of course you guys can feel free to check out the Discord. I'll be in Gen 1 or Gen 2. And we can have an open floor discussion. In fact, we can go do that right now. I can do the back end work with that up. I just can't be live streaming. So if you guys want, we can jump into Gen 1, and the general chats allow for 50 people at a time, so we can all jump in there. If you have background noise, remember to mute your mics. If not, I'll mute it for you. But yeah, just remember to mute your mics. And as usual, let's keep it professional, right? Even with the general texting and chat, guys, let's remember to keep it professional. Remember that this is a chat room. It's a a no nonsense community. It's a place where, you know, traders are looking to come and interact, learn, grow. And so, I definitely understand there needs to be some jokes at times, but let's not get take it too far, right? Let's always remain professional. Let's keep it classy, and let's keep growing, right? Let's keep grinding. Let's keep getting better. AZG, I heavily struggle with averaging down. How do I get rid of it? This is the, I think that's one of the hardest things to deal with. And by the way, PCSA is curling up a bit. We do have RVSN also flagging. Averaging down is a very difficult issue to deal with. Um, I do have a few students who struggle with averaging down, and it seems like it's something for whatever reason, like throughout from and this is what I'm getting from all the background information and stuff, the conversations, right? It's like something that's happening due to all the experiences that you've had to this point, right? Like even outside of trading, like life experiences. For some reason, it's something that's there, and even when we think we're over the hurdle, we're over the hump of doing it, it sometimes just comes back to get us. And averaging down is one of the most dangerous things we can do here in this field because there are times where these stocks are just so unforgiving. There are stocks where, like this, they go up nicely and they just don't bounce up. They literally go all the way down to just, a couple of cents. And if you're averaging down aggressively in those areas, it's not going to be good. So coming back to the question of how can it be solved? I think it's one of those things where, you know, therapy might be needed, right? Speaking to someone, and you have to try to find the root of the issue, right? It might be a different um cause for different people, but it might be somewhat similar, right? Because when we're in a rational state of mind, we understand that it's not something that's good to do and we shouldn't do it because it can result in a lot of losses. But in heightened situations, it happens. And what's interesting too is that from having these conversations, it'll happen to people for something that is somewhat a normal occurrence, which is where it becomes hard to determine what the real issue is. Let's say, for example, hey, I'm trading and I missed this particular trade, the stock went up, and that kind of triggered it, right? It can be something as simple as that, like you missed a breakout, and for whatever reason, like that emotion took over. So it's hard to pinpoint exactly why it happens, but we can say it's under some sort of a heightened, point in time, whether it's a big loss, missing a big trade, or having some sort of issue with your platform. There's been many different um, reasons as to why it's happened when I, talk to the students who are having issues with it. What I always say though is that first and foremost, as traders, and maybe this is something I might have to like write up, and like actually print it out for the students, but there's a contract here, right? It's not a physical contract, but there's a contract in a sense. And maybe this is something I can do for the class. I think this is a good idea actually. There's a contract, and there's a list of things here that we must accept as traders. It's not, it's mandatory. It's not any if, buts, or maybes. There's no way around it. There's no way to avoid it. There are certain things that we must accept, right? And the faster we can accept them, the better it will be. And when it comes to the rules, right, the unspoken rules of trading, you really have to sometimes, think a little bit outside the box. And these analogies can be pretty good in helping us understand it. And when it comes to uh, averaging down, right, when it comes to the things that will lead to averaging down, All right, miss trades, getting caught in a big and the most common one is getting caught in a huge flush like this, right? Where it's like a fight flight kind of reaction, and you kind of panic and buy more shares hoping for some sort of a bounce for the to get break even or small green again into the trade. You have when before you sign this contract, you have to read through and understand that in certain situations there's a correct way of doing things always. And on the other side of it, there are going to be consequences waiting for you. And ultimately, it's something where if you cannot overcome, it will be in your best interest to not trade, because it's tough. It's tough to say this, but it could happen to you on a day where it's just one of those stocks, and you could average. I mean, who knows how big your accounts are, right? You could be in there almost full account, whether it's a 30K account, 50K, 100, $500,000 account, because we've heard of the stories online on Twitter. We've read these things, and the stock doesn't bounce, and it's an incredible loss. It's devastating. That type of stuff it carries outside of the market. The risk it carries outside of the market, because you can become depressed. You can get emotional. These things can lead to problems in your relationships, right, with your spouse. It can lead to a lot of things that we really don't want to ever have to see or get to. So the important thing is to always put safety measures in place, guidelines and rules, and we have to accept it. We have to accept that part of this field is that we will, and you guys saw how aggressive I was being up here. But what did I say before we even got to this point, right? You got to be thinking about this stuff. You got to be conscious in the moment and understand what the risk could be. Before this move happened, I said, I'm going to have big size, but I have to accept the risk, because if it's a false breakout and I get caught, I will take a big loss. It's not even a question. It's a formality. And I was close to getting caught here with big size. I sold, and a few seconds later, the stock came down. I could have easily decided, hey, let me give this thing a chance here, or bought back a lower, and I would have been in around 60 or 70, and I've been stopping out down here at 20, or maybe worse, at like $5. But in the event that happened, or would have happened, I would have already accepted the risk. And that's the key part. Being a day trader means that you will. It's not even a question of if. You will. It's guaranteed that you will get caught. And when you do, you must react in an appropriate manner, which is to cut the loss and understand that this is only one red trade in one day out of your entire career, right? You must have the perspective. You must keep that perspective. And even on a day where that day where I would have had that big green day, like Marcelo was telling me, like don't forget, like, even if you did do well on that day, it's like really and truly, it's somewhat insignificant, because it's just one day out of like hundreds, thousands of days that you're going to be trading, and you're going to be here, and there's going to be opportunity. So why am I allowing a 30-second candle to ruin my entire career as a trader? This is the perspective you must have in these situations. And you have to, it's almost like a way of life. It's almost like a lifestyle, right? Every day you must be aware of these things. You must be accepting of these things in order to be able to react appropriately in the moment. You know, if you think that you can't get caught, and that you'll play Matrix and dodge every bullet, it's not gonna go well, because none of us are invincible, right? And the market is bigger than any one of us. If you're the exchange itself, if you're the algorithm, then you can say, I can do what I want, because I control how this stock can move. I have trillions of dollars at my disposal. But we're not an algorithm, even for the bigger ones here who have millions, right? Some of you guys are millionaires. Our millions are nothing in the grand scheme of what the market is. So we have to play by the rules that the market allows for. If we don't accept the risk, if we don't accept that we'll be in these situations, then we're going to have a hard time. And it's one of those things, again, if you cannot overcome, it will be best to not trade, because it can go well for a duration, but if it happens, it will get you, and it can get you pretty bad. So, we have to challenge ourselves. If you're someone who's having this issue, right, you have to challenge yourself. Try different things. Meditate. You know, when you go through your archives and you're studying, right, when you're rewatching your film, you know, create some scenarios. Create some scenarios, right? Think about not only the positive side about if you would have caught the move and the entire move, but think about the negative side. Man, what if I'd gotten caught in this trade? How would that have looked, right? Like you have to like ease yourself into being open about it. All right, if this setup that I took here, that was an A quality setup, everything looked great, but it still somehow failed. How do I want to react in a situation like this? Like put yourself in all those scenarios, and then over time you become more accepting of it, right? Try different things. Try meditating, thinking about trading. Try different things outside. Whatever you can come up with that you think can help you. Nothing is too silly. Nothing is too small. Nothing is too big. Some people will post up post-it notes. Some people will, whatever you have to do. Whatever you have to do to ensure success. You know, if it was something that I overcame, I would have been able to give, the process that I did, but I never had an issue with it. I never had an issue with it, right? But I can only kind of speak on what I think could help. This is one of the hardest parts of being a teacher, though, is that sometimes people will come to you with certain issues that you don't necessarily have a perfect blueprint for. I think that's like the roughest part of this, like being in this position, because you'd love nothing more than to like to help out the person, right? Help out the student. And who knows that? Who knows, man? Like with these neural link things that they're talking about, let's assume that stuff becomes really great over time. Stuff like that can maybe help, right? Where you can share with someone on a even more, let's say, do you want to say the word intimate level, right? You're literally in someone's mind, and you can share with them your experience, and maybe that helps them out to become better. But who knows how many years away something like that is. Well, until then, as RVSN is trying again here, we got to do all known, um, take all known actions that can potentially work. RVSN doing all right, trying again for 760, 780. High of days at 89. But it's not easy, man. It's not easy. It never was and it never will be. The conversations with the significant other is always going to be a very dreadful conversation. And but you have to take that though. You have to take that negative energy and become motivated. And you have to promise to yourself you're never going to be in that situation again. You take that energy, because energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? It can change, so you have to change it. Break of 8, can we see something here? Damn, I should have been a little quicker there, but the bids are coming back down. It might keep going here. It looks decent, but can we push through? KB, 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 KB. Should have took my couple cents, man. Jeez. Louise. Oh, I'm getting that call. All right, okay, I gotta go. Gotta run. I'll catch you guys later. Stay safe, stay green. If you're going to distance, continue to trade the best opportunities. How my monitor is set up is that or Momo. Yeah, I can show the let's see here. For the stream and for the these are my criteria here for the stream, right? Screenshot this, screenshot this here, and then I'll show you my criteria for the scan, the discovery. All right, or rewind the video, pause it, and then for the discovery, these are all the filters that I have enabled, right? But I'm gonna come back to the actual discovery platform here. All right, let's come back and let's zoom in. I'll enlarge this. So first and foremost, the no filter is what I use at the very beginning of pre-market, which doesn't require anything. This is just here. You can just make sure to come to last percent. And once you click above last percent, it'll organize it in percentage order going down. Other than that, I have the Relentless Momo filter. This filter is a little bit more tight and it does not include stocks below $1. But here are the criteria. Here's the filters rather. Here's the filters. So screenshot that, and then I'm out of here. I gotta go. I gotta take this call, and I gotta get to those emails and DMs. All right, stay safe, stay green, and I'll catch you guys later. Likewise in Discord.